Welcome to the Relateable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Sherween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Chantal, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope. Hello, Relatable family. We are back. How y'all doing? I'm going to be really honest and just say something. We just had a pre-recording discussion, right? And I am not going to divulge. Because Sherween was like, we're not going to talk about this in the episode, but I just want to say something, right? Y'all, Sherween needs to write a book. Sherween needs to write a book. That's it. I'm done. That's it. That's all I have to say. Okay? And I'm moving on. I'm moving swiftly on. Fiona, my love.
Yes, my dears.
How are you doing?
I just got a telling off.
Oh.
This is why I was a bit late. I was just going to tell
I feel like I know who did it, but please share.
So my partner was vexed with me because I just made some mugs, right? For New Year Caribbean. It's just a trial thing, right? I've produced a very small amount. I produced 8 mugs. And the way the mugs are, the mug is completely black. But then when you pour hot water into it, a poster of the rebellious slaves poster that I have been printing on kaftans and stuff appears when you add hot water, right?
Lovely.
So I sent him a video of that. And the man get vexed with me, Gassa, because I didn't tell him about it. So they're calling him. He's not answering the phone, I say, again, I'm vexed with you. So I call and he finally answered. I say, so what happened? He said, but you didn't tell me. I was like, yeah, but I didn't know if it was going to be good. It was like my first, I've never done these before.
Right.
I didn't tell you, it's just a small amount. I had credits with the company. And so I just used the credits they had for me to just do the mugs, right? And then he's saying, yeah, but that's not the point. At the end of the day, I share everything with you. Anything I'm doing, I'm sharing.
Fiona.
If I'm doing this, I share no matter. I say, yeah, but guys, I didn't know it's gonna be good or not. And he's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, you should be telling me those things because I don't want to be left out of the loop. You making things, you creating things. I want to be part of your creative journey. And what I had to do, humble myself and take my talk, of course.
Can I say something? Fiona, you do that a lot in your ass.
Sherween?
No, I'm gonna side with him. I line to tell you sometimes I just be or you dropping you just drop it. And now can I just clarify? I know most of the times it is not because you want to hide anything. It's probably because it just slip you and you just don't bother or something.
I know why.
You understand? But it's like, oh yes, and I do this. Oh yes, and I'm like, bitch, tell a bitch.
But you know why? I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. You've done this. Okay.
I know why. I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to feel like I'm just talking about myself all the time. So it's more like, because I do so many random different things, I don't want to be like, oh, well, I do this and I'm doing that. And I'm doing like, sometimes I just do it because I just, sometimes I just want people to feel inundated of me just talking about myself and all of my ideas and this and that, whatever. So it's not
interesting.
I feel like I don't want to be overloading people, Gassa. So it's like the mugs things felt so small and trivial, and I felt like he has other things to worry about, other things for me to be calling him and say, I'm doing these mugs, but he said it's important to him. So
interesting.
I am learning. He said, please do not keep things like this from me. You creating stuff, you making stuff. I'd like to know about it. So you know what? I took my talking to, and I've accepted it, and yeah. Yeah.
Right. Can I just say, okay, as someone who is not in a relationship, because both you and Sherween are, it's these moments that remind me of how much I still have to learn about being in a relationship, right? Because I can understand from Nee's perspective where he's like, yo, okay, so you were off doing this thing. We are in this proper committed relationship. And I am just finding out about it just so. And so it's like almost like, so am I just, what is my importance to you that I'm just finding out like everybody else? Right? Whereas I'm your partner. Like we're doing this thing together. We're traveling this road together as a unit. And here am I just finding it like everybody else. Whereas from your perspective as a creative, right? As a creative being, and even though you said, one of the reasons is that you don't want to be constantly saying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I also find as a creative, sometimes you're in the flow, right? You get an idea, it sparks, and you're in the flow. So you're focused on that. And it's like, right? And you're in the thing, you're doing the thing, and then you have the thing, the outcome, whatever it is, whether it's a product, whether it's an experience, whatever it is, it's then there. And you're like, yo, what do you think of this? Right? Because now you're putting it out into the world. But when you're in a relationship, your world becomes even more, I don't know, is it compartmentalized? Because you have your world with your partner, your world with your children, your world with your friends, your world with just Fiona, your world with your career, your world with your manager, all these different bits. And sometimes it gets really hard to manage all of it. And so things will slip, right?
Yeah.
But so something slipped, and your partner, what I love about it is that he communicated that he wasn't feeling it.
Good. Yeah.
He communicated it. So rather than keeping it to himself and storing it up for when something truly major happens, and then he comes at you, and you do this, and you do that.
Yes.
In the moment, he has said, yo, babes, this is how this has made me feel. Right? It makes me feel devalued. So I'm just out there like everybody else. You're working on this thing. It may seem small to you. You're like, but it's a mug, and I wasn't sure how it was going to look. And da-da-da. He doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
As he said, he doesn't care. And so I'm listening to you relay the story. And then, of course, Sherween said, brap, I'm backing him. I'm backing him on this. Because you just do that. Because you just do that, Fee. And then this is your friend. Right? So this isn't your partner. This is now your friend saying, you know what? Sometimes I feel a bit left out. And I feel like, we're not just friends, we're sistrins. And then sometimes I just see things on social media and I'm like, Ray. So Fiona was working on that. And I just finding out just so, like in Know Your Caribbean Stories. Right? So Sherween is now expressing, but you have said your reason. And so it's for you and Sherween to kind of say, well, actually, I see what you're saying there, Sherween. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Fiona. But you've spoken about it. And that is friendship. Because it's not every day in friendship we're going to be in la la land and everything is fine and everything. And this is not even that something isn't fine. It's just maybe highlighting something where Sherween feels a bit devalued. Like, yo, our friendship is a bit deeper than that. And for me to just be finding out these things, and we're not even talking about the mug, but just whatever, right? But then Fiona is saying to you, yo, I don't want always to be talking about myself. It's just interesting to see how the things that we're doing impacts on those around us in different ways, right? So here you have both your worlds, your partner world and your friendship world. And people are raising their hands and saying, hey, we're feeling left out.
I think because, Fiona, you have so many things going on that it slips you.
But I feel like, don't we all know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It would slip me as well. So it's not, like I said, it's not a case of me thinking that you deliberately not telling me.
No, I
It's
don't
a
think
case
so
of
either.
I don't think that's what it is with your partner either. I think it's a case of when it come up, or when it's highlighted, or something it's happening with something that you put energy into 6 months ago, and now it's coming into fruition. Like, oh, guys, I doing this, or I doing that.
Yeah.
You understand? But that's how I see it, not as any other way.
I just see it as a creative, just in her flow.
Exactly.
And then, as you said, Sherween, forgetting. Just forgetting. Yeah. But it is still important to note how it makes people feel, right? And I think what I love about this conversation is this is how intimacy grows.
Yes.
Because for your partner to feel, secure enough to share that with you, and for you to be open to listening, that is intimacy. You're building intimacy in your relationship and your friendships, right? And that's what you want. You want your partner and your friends to be able to come to you and have these conversations. I mean, I had a dream last night that I was in a relationship with Trevor Noah.
What was the dream, Chantal?
So the dream, just in context, we were hanging out. We were having a lot of fun. So the relationship felt like a lot of fun, right? And even what would have been a difficult conversation was so light. Like we were having we're doing this thing, so let's have a conversation about money and about finances. And it was such a lovely conversation. And he said to me, Chantal, what is your relationship? What is your mindset towards finances? And I looked at him and I said, honestly, I have been struggling to feel like I deserve abundance and I deserve money. I said, so that's something that I'm working through. And I said, what about you? What is something that you're working on? And he said, I feel like people take advantage of me financially.
Well, I can very much believe that.
But this was the conversation, and it was just so, and then I'm like, okay, right. And so then we went on to something else, and we were visiting a media house, some kind of media house somewhere in the world. I turned to him and I said, my ex-boyfriend works here, and he'll be so pleased to meet you. And he's like, okay, cool. So we're walking into the building. My ex-boyfriend is in a meeting, and he looks up, and I'm like smiling and waving and pointing to Trevor. And my ex-boyfriend's face just drops, like his whole body language. His body language just changes. And I was like, oh, I thought he would be so gassed to see Trevor Noah, right?
Syria. Yeah. Price gone up. Yeah. Chantal's price gone up.
The price gone up. And so we just kept on walking through the building. And on the way back, I was like, okay, maybe I misinterpreted, let me just wave at him again and just say, hey. And Trevor's there waving. Let me tell you, my ex-boyfriend, again, his energy just changed. And we left the building and I said, oh, I'm really sorry, because I thought he would be so pleased to meet you. And he was like, that's okay. And we just continued on our merry way. But it was just such a lovely dream. And I woke up thinking, that's the kind of relationship I want to be in. I want to be in a fun relationship, just lots of love and adoration and respect, but also knowing that we can have the conversations that need to be had and to be open to those conversations, because that's how intimacy grows. That's how we grow as individuals. That's how we grow as a couple or in partnership, whatever terminology you choose for that. And so here we are having the same conversation about that with Fiona and her partner. And for me, all I'm feeling from us is growth.
Wow, Fiona, you remember our call this morning?
Yes. Yes. Same thing. Yes. We have to grow up, Gassa.
We have to grow up. Fiona and I was speaking this morning, Chantal, and it was purely about growth and my mindset towards relationship, my new relationship, and how I'm approaching it, and me not self-sabotaging. And it's really about us growing up. So definitely.
Look at this alignment. Look at this.
Is it synchronicity?
It's synchronicity, alignment. Yo, look at us. I'm over here getting goosebumps. I am getting goosebumps. Look at us growing, ladies. Yo, look at us. I feel big. So we are 15 minutes into the show. We haven't really checked in with how our weeks were. Fiona has given us a little bit. Sherween, we're gonna roll to you, and we're gonna roll to me.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay.
My week's been fine. Not much to talk about. It's been a lot of ups. I met a lot of my partner's family this week, which is really lovely. I feel welcomed, so that's been really nice. Business wise, we've been making some strides, some nice strides. So this week has been really good. Nothing much. I say nothing much, but it's like, it's been good. It's been good. Nothing to shout about, but nothing to, nothing brought me down this week. Let's put it that way. So it's been lovely.
I hear you.
Chantal, what are you saying?
A mixed bag.
Okay.
A mixed bag. Just ups and downs. And I think this week for me, physically, I'm feeling very tired. Last weekend, I had a lovely staycation with one of my sisters in St. Kitts, and we were just at this beautiful home, beautiful villa with a pool, and it's a friend's villa. So you don't know. We're like, yo, we're coming back. Because the friend doesn't live here. The friend lives in the States. And she was like, my home is your home. Why you all wait so long to ask me this? We're like, okay then. Okay.
How much is it to come to St. Kitts again?
You only have to tell us once. She's like, as long as I'm not there, you guys, it's yours. Take a key. We were like, take a key.
Listen, we have to start saying yes to them things,
All right. Hello.
So
I'll be coming to St. Kitts.
And no, you're not.
I owe St. Kitts a visit. I have to make a national apology.
You do not owe St. Kitts.
But it's not to St. Kitts you have to apologize.
I said, y'all need to listen.
Why should it even worse?
I said I have a national apology to Nevis. And then from there, I'm coming to St. Kitts. Don't you have to go through St. Kitts to get to Nevis?
No.
No?
You don't.
Okay, well, my bad.
You see? Fiona?
Oh, so the plane lands in Nevis?
It depends on what plane we have many flights. We have an airport, Sherween.
I know.
She's real digging herself deep into this hole.
I'm coming to Nevis to make a national apology.
And there we go. But that is all you had to say at the very. This is why Fiona was pulling you up.
She said she's going to send Kitts to apologize.
What she going to send Kitts for? I don't understand. What St. Kitts have to do with
it?
I'm
sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Those
Sherween when I PR lady.
Help her. Yo, Sherween, you need a manager. You need security when you come, Nevis.
I'm telling you, those told me. I come in in all white, full of apologies and love.
Honestly. So yeah, man. So I had a really lovely weekend with my girl, Imriel. Imriel is a creative. She has a beautiful brand, Pure Niceness, homemade soaps, handmade soaps and oils crafted from the herbs that she grows in her garden. Imriel is a model. She's just everything. She's beautiful. We've known each other since we were teenagers. So it's really nice to be home and spend time with friends that have known me since I've known myself almost. And so we both were there chilling. The week has been work heavy, really work heavy. And I had to check myself, I think midway through the week, and say, Chantal, you asked for this. You prayed for this. You meditated for this. You manifested this. And it's here and it's a lot. And you just need to kind of figure out how to readjust your self-practices so that this feeling of overwhelm doesn't take over all the time. Make sure you're putting in your rest days. Make sure your boundaries are being enacted so that you are looking after yourself. Because now I'm balancing like 5 different clients for different projects. And of course, each one feel like they should have access to me all the time. Right? And so I'm getting like messages and emails and calls, and I have to be really firm with myself. I have to be disciplined and not answer calls after a certain time and not feel the need to instantly respond to things because not everything is urgent. And so that's been my big learning this week. And yeah, so it's just been a week of gratitude and overwhelm and a counting down to the 22nd of December when everything stopped for me. Nobody called me, nobody emailed me.
Do not
do not
call me.
Don't call me back.
From the 22nd, yo, let me tell you something, yeah? Like New Caribbean has been like doing orders and stuff like that from December 17th. Okay. Let me tell you, see me last year was hell for me.
Yeah.
It was so stressful in terms of the delays and the thing. And listen, I'm not doing it this year. I'm not. And I think Chantal, if you could shut down by the 20th, possible.
I can't
do so.
My two filmmakers, I can't. So, but the 22nd is bye-bye.
Deuces.
Until January 3rd. Deuces, everyone, every project. I've ordered books to be delivered by next week. So I have all my books lined up for the break that I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be in that ocean, walking, hiking, hot baths, walking up in Carnival, a plane job. Nobody called me. Right. Nobody talked to me.
Yeah. So they're gonna be big drum and all of them things gonna start.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Really looking forward. So looking forward to it. And a couple of my people are coming in. Some of them are already here. Our girl Imriel is in St. Kitts.
No way.
And did she come with the baby?
Everybody here.
Oh,
gosh. So we're going to be meeting up. I can't wait. And what she doesn't know, which I will share with you guys, what Imriel doesn't know is that I am organizing a beautiful dinner, right, for creatives in St. Kitts and Nevis. Okay. We're all going to sit down at a long table, break bread together, connect, talk. Wow. There's three photographers and a writer for TV and film that are of Nevisian and Kittitian heritage who are going to be on island. And yeah, man, we're holding space. We're holding space.
Beautiful.
Can't wait.
Beautiful.
Because there's so many wonderful young creatives on the island. And I want them to know that they're not alone, you know, and that there are people out there wanting to tell our stories in so many just, I don't know, captivating ways. And we can help each other. You know, it's about the ecosystem. And I can't wait to see everyone sitting down and just connecting. I can't wait. Really looking forward to it. So yeah, Imriel doesn't know.
Lovely.
She's gonna be there. So that's been my week. It's been my week. And also, and this is connected to what we're going to be speaking about in a few minutes. And I think it's a beautiful segue. The last few weeks, I recognize that I've started to put on a lot of weight again. And I've been there like racking my head. I'm like, wait, I'm consistently moving. I'm eating really good food. Like, what is this? What? And then I'm like, child, ease up now. You are in perimenopause. Your hormones are the boss right now. Okay. And until you're through perimenopause, your weight is going to fluctuate. You're going to lose weight. You're going to gain weight. And I just came to this place of acceptance of where I am right now as a woman in terms of my physicality. And that felt good. Because in between in the week, you know, someone said, "My God, girl, me not recognize you. You're so big now." Right?
You know what?
Yes.
Anyways,
okay. we already had this conversation.
We've had this conversation many times. Yeah.
And I mean, honestly.
Yeah. And we move. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I felt this week. I was like, I don't have the energy for this. And I recognize that that's the way you feel about me. But fuck you, because that's not the way I feel about me. I'm a fucking sexy, beautiful. And when I say beautiful, I don't just mean my exterior. Okay. Because my exterior I have no control over that. You know, that's my genes, my DNA, my mother's, my father's, all of my ancestors make me look the way I physically look. I'm a beautiful fucking human being. And I am sexy and sensual and all the things. And if you don't see that, if you don't feel that way, cool,
Fuck them.
Cool. Fuck
Listen,
them.
it's about finding. It's not. You're not here to convince everybody. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, not at
Exactly.
all.
It's
I'm
like
not here to sell
it's the
myself,
same.
people. It's cool.
It's the
You
same
know?
conversation that I was like having about in terms of, we see quite a lot online, a lot of black men saying disparaging things about black women, or say that they're not night riders, they don't sleep with women who are darker skinned than them, and all of that. And you all know that has pissed me right off, right? But then, but that's not my tribe, though. I'm not there to convince you all of anything.
Right.
I not
exactly.
I like this. I not that's your business. I cannot, it's not for me to stay there and school you or teach any different, or see the black women in an alternative light. Do you, Papa? Do you? So that person who sees you in whatever way that they do, that's their business, right? And like Chantal, as you were doing, you're just managing your exposure around that type of energy.
Yeah, 100%.
And not letting it go in,
Yeah. And it's like, I met up with a client, and she told me before I met up with her, she said, Shani, just to let you know, I put on a lot of weight. I said,
well, why you have to put a disclaimer? Why do we have to do that?
I said, girl, what? I said, why are you saying this to me? She said, Shan, people in Nevis. I said, girl, stop. I said, I don't want to hear this. I said, you are beautiful. I don't even care. And she said, I just want to prepare you. Imagine a woman is doing that.
For what?
She just want to prepare me. And that made me so sad for her to feel like you have to say that to me. And number one, I'm not the kind of person that gives a shit.
Yeah. Like, not all the big belly. Let them be uncomfortable.
Like, hello. But for her to feel the need to say that to me, I just want to warn you. I want to prepare you, Shani, that I've gained a lot of weight. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that makes me sad, yo.
It made me sad. This is an intelligent, sharp business woman. She's now my client. And that is what she says to me before I met with her. And I'm like, you see this thing here?
Yes, because she knows the comments.
Yes.
She knows what people say.
And then what they have been saying to her. And so she picked me up. And of course, to me, she just looks stunning. I'm like, I don't really understand what she's talking about. But, we are in our bodies, right? We also know. We know how our bodies feel. Like, I have things that are moving on my body that never used to move before. So I know. Yeah. And this is the thing. Like, we had the conversation. It's like, it's not like I don't know I've put on weight. Like, I have a mirror. I'm in my body. So what do you think you're achieving by
telling me that?
Claiming that? Like, I know. Right? So what we devised a plan, and I know we've gone off on a tangent. We will come back to menopause. And what we decided to do is the next person that says that to me, I'm going to look at them and say, really? Wait, I put on weight? Oh my God. Oh, wait, what?
You should, because it could make them look like a damn fool.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's what we've decided to do.
Yeah. Good.
Even do a twirl. Like, do a twirl and say, wait, let me look. Wait.
You sure?
You're right.
Sure? You should go and get a scale. Let's double check that.
Let me see. I don't think so. Really? Yeah. We've decided that's what we're going to do.
I met somebody and he said to me, I know your face, but you was really Meg. What happened? I said, you knew me when I was in high school. Whoa. Okay, that's like 25 years later. All right. So what do you expect? 25 years, 3 children. And even though you were, he said you were really Meg. What happened?
I don't like that what happened part. What do you mean what happened?
I just laugh. I say, oh my God, sir, you know what? Just leave it there.
Or like, it's like, especially like when like say like young people, if they have an acne breakout or something, people are like, come to your face. Like, hi, you think
exactly. But that's how we do it in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
No breaks, tongue, no breaks.
But it's the thing is acne again, it's a hormonal shift.
Yep.
It is led by hormones. Yes, if you don't take care of your skin, it will worsen it. But actually, you could have all the best products in the world, but it's hormones, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it takes time. It takes time. You know, and to say that to a teenager, teenagers are already, they're transitioning through all the puberty things.
They're
all
very
the changes.
fragile at that time.
And you can just go up to a teenager and say, what happened to you this?
Yeah, man.
We need to be a little bit more sensitive and aware. And also boundaries. Like, you should not actually be speaking on anyone's physicality. But I feel like we're going backwards. Yes. So let's, because we had this conversation. We speak about it so many times. For those of you who are new to the show, I will let you know which episode. We'll put that in the show notes where we actually spoke about, the Caribbean and boundaries and bodies and all those things. But today, the conversation is actually about menopause and perimenopause, right?
Yes.
And how much we know about it, what we learned about it as growing up in our homes, how our mothers spoke or didn't speak about this change, right? And our own experiences thus far. So I always think when we're having these kind of discussions that we should share the definition of the topic, right? So I researched perimenopause, which for me, I've only learned about perimenopause in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, because for me, everything was under the umbrella menopause, right? And so to define perimenopause, it can begin apparently for some women in their 30s, but most often it starts in women ages 40 to 44, right?
Okay.
It is the time leading up to menopause. So it's not menopause. It is separate from menopause. It is the time leading up to menopause. It is marked by changes in menstrual flow and in the length of the cycle. There may be sudden surges in estrogen, which then leads to further impacts on your physicality, your bodily functions. And let's see, let me just read this a little bit more. And so the first symptoms, the first few signs of perimenopause, which, as I said, can start in your 30s, but more often than not, it really raises up between 40 and 44, is you have night sweats.
Right.
Thick night sweats. So you wake up after sleeping covered in sweat. So night sweats. There could be hot flashes, a sudden feeling of warmth that spreads across your body.
I mean, is it necessary? But go on.
Irregular periods or skipping periods.
Thick.
Oh, Jesus. Periods that are heavier or lighter than usual.
Thick.
Vaginal dryness and discomfort during sex.
No.
Urinary
silence from our ass.
Urinary urgency, needing to pee more frequently.
Thick.
You're killing me. Wait, there's more. There's so many, right? There's so many. So again, just to define what perimenopause is, it's when your body starts transitioning to menopause, okay? So during this transition, your ovaries begin producing less hormones, causing your menstrual cycle to become erratic or irregular. At this time, your body is moving toward the end of your reproductive years. It may begin as early as your mid-30s or as late as your mid-50s. Some people are in perimenopause for only a short time, but for most, it lasts 4 to 8 years. The term perimenopause simply describes the time when your cycles are no longer predictable. Other physical changes and symptoms can occur as your body adjusts to different hormone levels. During perimenopause, your fertility is declining, but you can still become pregnant. Please, I'm going to say that again. During perimenopause, your fertility is declining, but you can still become pregnant.
Gotcha.
All right. The symptoms of perimenopause, the age it starts, and how long it lasts will vary between women. You are out of perimenopause and into menopause once you had 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period, right? So you know that you are in menopause once you've had 12 months consecutive. So it can't be, you had your period this month, and you didn't have it for 3 months, then it come back. No, that means you're still in perimenopause. It has to be 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period. That is when you are in menopause. Okay? Right.
The joys of having a vagina.
The joys.
Why vaginas have to be so much hard work?
And are you talking about your vagina or your vulva?
Both.
Or everything.
The whole so all the bits.
The whole, all everything.
The whole thing.
All of them.
So, right? Okay. So, ladies. Yes. Also, I missed. Oh gosh, sorry, I missed a few of the symptoms. And remember, you don't have to have all the symptoms. Okay, you don't.
Yeah, let's go.
So, sleep problems, insomnia, changes in mood like irritability, depression, or mood swings. Forgetfulness.
Tick.
Forgetfulness made me laugh.
Why can we not have like some positive things? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your breasts start to get more perky. Well, you know what I'm saying?
I have gained breasts during perimenopause. So for those of you listening, I am 49 years old, and I have probably been in perimenopause for the last 4 years. It has been hell. And the reason why I say it has been hell, because what some of these articles haven't actually mentioned is the inflammation that your body goes through when you're in perimenopause. And this is all a part of the hormones, right? Your estrogen production is lowering, all the things. And so your body is, and what we want to clear up actually on this episode is that menopause and perimenopause doesn't mean, as they like to say in the Caribbean, that your day is done. So we need to put that away. A woman's days are not done because she is going through a hormonal change. We went through a hormonal change when we were teenagers so that we can reproduce and all these things. And now at this stage, we're going through a hormonal change, which signifies that you can no longer biologically have children. That's all it is. It is not the end of your days. You are no longer, it doesn't mean that you're no longer attractive. It doesn't mean that you're no longer vital. It doesn't mean that you're no longer adventurous. It doesn't mean that you can't change things in your life. You can't travel anymore. It doesn't mean you can't dance. It doesn't mean you can't experiment with the way you look. It doesn't mean anything but you can no longer reproduce. That's all menopause is. But the way that the patriarchal system and society that we live in has it set up, it would have you believe that it is literally the end of your life. You no longer sparkle. That's it.
Yep.
And that is bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's a myth. It's a change. And it's a change that my mother's generation didn't really speak to me about. I had to learn through one of my aunties because I literally thought I was losing my mind. The forgetfulness thing, is real. Like I go into the kitchen knowing what I go into the kitchen for. I stand up in the kitchen. I no longer remember why the ass I hear.
Yes. Oh Lord. Yes.
Fiona, Fiona, you remember how many times you tell me, Sherween, you need to stop smoking that weed. I'm sorry. You forgetting everything. I forget everything. Up to this morning, I got told, I'm not going to speak to you when you're half asleep or when you had a few to drink. You don't remember anything. I'm like, but you didn't speak to me about. Yes, I did.
Why?
Like, okay, maybe
it's the decrease in the estrogen because that can lead to bone thinning as well, which is why they advise women who are in that stage of their life to incorporate weightlifting into their exercise routines, right? Because it can lead to bone thinning, hair thinning, changes in cholesterol levels, all of these things, which can be managed. You know, there are choices. You can manage it through lifestyle tweaks. So incorporating more nutrient-dense food into your lives, you know, really listening to your body in terms of how to work out, making sure that you move consistently. I don't really like the word exercise. I like to use the word movement. So making sure that you are moving on a consistent basis, you know, really taking time for self-care, minimizing stress in your life as much as you can, like all of these things, as well as something which I don't know a lot about. So when I come back up to England next summer, I'm actually going to go to a specialist and talk about the options. I think it's HRT, the hormonal replacement therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, which people use either the patches, or I know there's other ways that you can incorporate HRT into your life. A lot of people are against it because it has been known to create the perfect, what's the word? I can't even remember. You see? Look, perimenopause. Can't remember the word. Conditions for certain types of cancer to manifest, right?
Yeah. Right. So, okay.
Yeah. So there is that. There's a lot of information out there. And we are hoping to have an expert on our next episode, because we're doing this in 2 parts. And really, this first episode is for us to share. It really is. And I think maybe I may be a bit deeper in my perimenopause than Sherween and Fiona. I mean, I wasn't even aware that I was in perimenopause until 2 years ago. I just thought, I don't even know what I thought about my health at the time. I thought, it's COVID, it's whatever, it's long COVID, it's all the things. But, I'm in perimenopause. That's where I am.
Yeah.
I'm transitioning to menopause. I don't know when that can happen. It happens later for some women. It could happen later for me. But until such time, I need to learn as much about perimenopause as I can and how I can manage it. It's exhausting. The insomnia is real. I know during our pre-conversation, I shared that I hadn't slept for the week. It's hard.
Boy.
It's hard. And my mom, I don't know about you guys, but my mom didn't really speak about, I don't even know she was aware. Because did her mother speak to her? Did Nana have the words to say perimenopause, menopause? I don't know. What about you, Sherween?
Well, it was probably last year, 2021, that I started speaking to my mom about it. Because I said, hold on, I think, Chantal, we had that conversation. We had a conversation about perimenopause, and I was saying, my God, I need to know more, blah, blah, blah. And I want to speak to my mom about menopause and if she's going through it and what's happening. And that's when mommy opened up about menopause. Wow. And she said, yes, Sherween, I am going through menopause. And mommy broke down. She said, you don't understand how awful it is, and her body's changing, and she's just praying and trying to keep control of what's happening to her. But she was having a really tough time with it. And then I started researching, started selling oils, selling teas, tell her maybe if you try drinking that tea, it might regulate something, blah, blah. Just trying different things. But that's the first time my mom ever opened up about it. It's always been, she's suffering in silence.
Wow.
And I never really thought about it until we had that conversation. I think it was last year, Chantal.
Right.
We had that conversation, and I went back to my mom with it. And I said, how are you doing with menopause? And she asked, why would you ask me that? And I said, well, your age, it's clearly something that you going through. And she broke down.
Oh, wow. She broke down,
so since then, I've told her to use CBD oil.
Yes.
I've made lots of recommendations for her. Send her different teas. I'll tell her, okay, I'm trying this one, try it out, tell me how you feel. From like off the top of my head, I can't remember the names of the teas, but even like Blue Lotus, I tell her, try that. Try the Blue Lotus, try these things. And she does, she tries them. I don't know about the CBD, my mom still have a thing about cannabis. She is so indoctrinated about cannabis, but I'm not sure if she tried the CBD, but yeah, everything else, she will give it a go. She will drink the teas, she will try the oils, and she will tell me, she said, yeah, it made her feel a little better, this, that, but I think she's still suffering a lot.
Wow.
She really is. I sent her websites. I sent her links to our potential guest next week. I sent her some of her podcasts. I said, you need to listen to this woman. She's amazing. But yeah, that's how really it opened up my eyes on what she's going through. It was when she broke down. I did not realize it was that bad.
Wow. So what about you personally, Sherween? Do you feel that like you may be in perimenopause?
Girl, I don't feel like it.
Oh.
Again, is the conversation we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am.
You know you are.
I know I am. There were
Right.
times when over the past 3 years, my period just used to act up.
Mm-hmm.
My period started acting up about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I would go a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, no period,
Mm-hmm.
and then it come in when it wants.
Oh, okay.
But it's hard because it's like, is that stress? Is that perimenopause? Like,
exactly.
No,
and when I went to my doctor,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. I went to my doctor. I kept saying to my GP that I wake up in sweats, like pool of water.
The night sweats. The night sweats.
Awful.
Oh my.
Awful.
My,
I couldn't believe what was happening. I'm like, I'm sick. There's something
Yes.
wrong with me.
Yes.
I do not know.
Yes.
Something's happening to my body. I did all sorts of tests. Just name them. I said, I want a full MOT. Take 100 vials of blood. Something's wrong.
Take the things.
Something's wrong. Yes. Something's wrong. I did all of that. And then we had that conversation and I brought it up to my GP and he said, yes, I believe that's what might be happening because all your bloods are fine. Your cholesterol levels, your this levels, your that, everything's fine. Wow. The only thing was you missing vitamin D.
Right.
Well, girl, you were the first person I learned that you could actually be like deficient in vitamin D. I remember those. Yes.
Girl,
10 years ago.
Terrible.
When the doctor say, "Oi,
I had to get a shot. I had to get a vitamin D shot. Emergency. He said, no.
Emergency, Sherween. It was that bad?
Emergency. He said, no, nah. That's not good.
Whoa.
That's not good. And he sent me straight. They don't even do it on the NHS. Send me to get an emergency vitamin D shot.
Sherween, so let me ask you a question. You weren't going out in the sun? What happened?
Girl, I don't know. Sun where in the UK?
Exactly.
Oh,
if
UK.
It's winter time,
Okay.
Yeah. In the UK,
easily
and my
done.
body was
easily done.
I was in a rut, depression, everything.
But that's a vicious cycle because the lack of vitamin D can lead to depression.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And the the night sweats, then the hot flashes. Tell me about it. I swear I've been in menopause. I say I'm in menopause already, but now you've explained that you need 12 months consistent. So I'm not in menopause. It's perimenopause.
You're in perimenopause. I think about how there's so many women, in their late 30s and then upwards, probably going through all kind of testing too. Right?
Yep.
Because like I said, I feel like it's only in the last 4 to 5 years that people have separated perimenopause from menopause and actually started to speak about the differences, And I feel that there are some women, and especially in our Black community, really, we're testing for lupus, we're testing for fibromyalgia, the things that we are more susceptible to. We're testing for sickle cell. Like, what is wrong? And you're like, what the fuck is going on with me? Like, what's wrong with me? And for some cases, it could very well be that person is journeying through perimenopause and completely unaware because we don't speak about it enough, right? So, Fiona, you're listening to these two old gals.
Girl, please.
I know, I am being very facetious, trust me. Do you feel like you are in perimenopause? How are you? Where are you on that spectrum?
I don't know. I think during the pandemic, I felt like my periods were getting more painful. And I put it down to less exercise because before the pandemic, guess I was everywhere. Like I was doing like minimum 10,000 steps or 10K walking a day, right? And then, I know these things are good in helping with your period pains, exercise. And of course, because everything went to a standstill during the pandemic, I say maybe it's that, right? I'm moving less, so therefore it's going to be much more painful. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I've always been very forgetful. So can I say if that's perimenopause, if I go in the kitchen and forget what I come there for? I was always like that. So it's hard to say, but no, in terms of night sweats and things like that, no. In terms of my period, in terms of flow or stuff like that, it has been more and more irregular over the past, I think, 18 months or so as well. Sometimes it will come really early or come a bit late and stuff. But other than that, I can't say. I think, and that's a tough thing because I had COVID twice, right? But I feel like my body's so much weaker.
Oh gosh,
generally.
Yeah.
I feel I get out of breath real quick. I will just pick up 1-2 things and I just there huffing and puffing. And I don't know if that's COVID or if my body's changing or both.
Both.
I can't say.
It could be both. I think
it could be both of them.
Yeah. You know what, Fee? I would advise any woman over the age of 35 just to start testing their hormonal levels, right?
Because so how do we do that?
You just go to a specialist. Go to a specialist, get a hormone test, and they'll take blood and they'll test your hormones for you. Just Google, man. Okay. There are so many great gynecologists and actual hormonal specialists. I don't know if there is a medical term for that, but definitely go and get tested. Get your hormone levels tested. And the doctor will be able to tell you if your estrogen levels are in a certain way. They'll be able to tell you. And that is, one of my closest friends, which you guys know, she is a GP. And she was actually the one who was like, you know what, Shan, I think you need to be tested. You need to test your hormone levels. You sound like you're in perimenopause. And she's not my doctor, but I swear to God, I wish she were, because she, for anything,
she keeps it real.
She keeps it real, and she's spot on. She has never been wrong. She has never been wrong. She's such an amazing doctor, man, gifted. And she said that's all she's ever wanted to do. She knew that from a child.
Really?
Yeah, she knew from a child. She wanted to look after people in that way. And she's just amazing. She's won awards and so, and she doesn't talk about it. She's an amazing doctor.
And the thing is like you'd see her so vivacious and this and that and whatever. But I love how she speaks, and I do wish like more doctors were like that. Would just keep it real, but just talk to you like normal, like as a person.
Yeah.
Not be well, I think your glucose levels need to be revised. Just say, girl, you need to go and get this and this and go and get that test and thing and just think it yourself, right?
Amazing.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about her,
Yeah.
But I think in terms of my mom and her experience with menopause, she did talk about it, not as in depth as Sherween's mom, but I don't think I asked the question when it was happening, because my mom is 76 now. So she, I know for a long time she hasn't had a period. This is probably now going on maybe 20 years, right? So obviously 20 years ago, I'm in my early 20s. I'm an asshole. I'm self-absorbed. I'm on my own vibe. I'm not really going to be asking my mom about that,
I'm an
right?
asshole.
Yeah, come on. Like in my early 20s, I'm thinking about man and party and stuff like that. Me at 21, 22, what did I know? Right. And so, because my mom had me when she was 36, but she did talk about the hot flashes.
Right.
She really hated those hot fucking flashes. She really hated that. And I mean, she was really happy that her period was done.
Right.
But yes, I think that she really was, but it was just the hot flashes. And I know that went on for a long time.
Wow.
And I think that's the thing that really she suffered with the most. But I never really asked her how she really felt about it. And I definitely will ask her after we do this podcast to see like how she managed it. And the thing is, us women, especially Caribbean women, Black women, you just have to get on with it, right? We always have to be the resilient one, the strong one, the this, the that, or whatever. And how many women in our community have had to ride through menopause and stuff, and it's not a common discussion.
No, it's not.
But it's something that happens to every single woman. And how we are so don't know anything about the perimenopause, the thing we're just learning about, when this is something that women in our community have been going through.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've never spoken to them about it.
Absolutely, Fiona. And the thing is, there are actually, and I was just shocked, right? The information. Apparently, there are 5 different stages of menopause.
Can it one be one, like your breasts just hook up and like your waist get smaller and you have more energy? Why does it have to be a series of things where your body is just feeling like it's just degrading every day?
There are 5.
I don't want to hear my bones are thinning. I don't want to hear, like you said, the fact you lose.
But the thing is, Fiona, those things are happening, but there are ways to combat that, you know? So yes, this is what the hormonal, the decline in hormones are going to do. But then this is how you manage it. So it's not like your hair get thin, it will never get that thick, right?
Right. Okay.
That's not the case. That's not the case. It's not like your bones become more brittle, but there's nothing you can do about it. Because now there's loads of information out there in terms of lifestyle changes that you can make that will help ease the transition, because it's a transition. So if you think about when you were going through puberty and all these things were happening with your body, there's stuff that we could have done to help ease it. And then once you're in teenage years now, boom, once, you know, for some of us, the acne goes away, you know, the greasy, oily skin settles down, and you also know how to look after it more. You know, the breasts are there, so it's no longer hurting because they're there, right?
Yeah.
The period has come and you know how to manage it, or you're learning how to manage it. You know, so there's these things that, yes, these things are inevitable, and not every woman will have all the symptoms. People's symptoms are different. So, you know, my hair isn't thinning from perimenopause, but my hair on top from when I used to have my locks, my hair is thinner there on top, because most of my locks, because I shaved, you know, back and sides and whatever, and just had my locks for a long time, for maybe half of my lock life. So my hair on top is thinner, but in terms of the rest of my hair hasn't thinned.
Right.
Whereas I have a friend who that is a big thing for her. Like her hair is just straggly and thin, and she's like, what the fuck? But it will come back, you know? So these things it's a transition, and the symptoms are not forever. It's temporary. It's a very disruptive temporary. It's very, very
temporary. I don't want to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man. And it just, the period just done and finished.
And just finished, man. Just finished.
Yeah.
Just done with it. But there's different, you know, there's pre-menopause, then perimenopause, then menopause, then post-menopause.
It's just too much. Whoa, like, just do your thing now.
Goddamn. But ladies, in speaking about perimenopause, I feel like we have a little bit of a better understanding of what perimenopause is. But actual menopause, right? Menopause is signaled by 12 months since your last menstruation. The common symptoms include hot flashes, vaginal dryness, sleep disturbances, and the combination of these symptoms can cause anxiety or depression. Menopause is a natural process with treatments that focus on symptomatic relief. Vaginal dryness is treated with topical lubricants or estrogens. Medications can reduce the severity and frequency of hot flashes. In special circumstances, oral hormone therapy can be used. Okay.
So thank you for that.
That is menopause, right? And apparently, let's see, I'm going to scroll down some more. Blah, blah, blah. Dry skin. Oh, yeah, dry skin and eyes. I've noticed my eyes are a lot drier, but I thought that was mostly due to the fact that we're using devices more. But it could
so
be
dry eyes.
Your eyes aren't producing as much.
Why is that necessary though?
It's the eggs.
I will
and
take the dry eyes, but not the dry vagina.
What do eggs and ovaries have to do with my eyes?
It's because of the lack of estrogen.
I will take the dry eyes, but not the dry vagina. I'm sorry.
I know you can't take that. I know you can't take that.
That's gonna.
Like I said, they have lube.
That's what they said. They recommended that. They recommended
just ting the lube and just don't overthink it.
But some women, you know, emotionally, because their bodies are going through all of these changes, they actually lose the emotional desire to have sex because they don't feel sexy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that. There's so many, hormones are a thing, you know. Hormones rule. Hormones rule. Okay. And for me, I know, you know, I've been taking ashwagandha, which is it's a herbal, what's the word? Adaptogen. It's an adaptogen, right? So what ashwagandha does as an adaptogen is it adapts to the hormonal needs of your body, right? And so it's able to pick up that, okay, this person is no longer producing as much estrogen. And so this is what that will cause. It will cause the mood swings and the this and the that. And so ashwagandha as an adaptogen assists your body into adapting to the decline of that particular hormone, right? Yes. So I've noticed, and I do my little experiments, and I've been using ashwagandha on and off for a good number of years now. And what I do is I will come off of it. I'll come off of it for like a month or two and not incorporate it into my smoothies and all the things. And I'll check my irritability levels and I'll check my insomnia levels. And I say this to say, I ran out of my ashwagandha last month, right? And the insomnia for the last 2.5 weeks has kicked my butt, right? And I'm like, what's going on? You know, monitoring, you know, my device use before my sleep and all these things. And I know that there are, you know, medical doctors in the Western world who very much are like, oh, all those herbs are woo-woo. There's no proof that these things help. The only proof I need is the way that my body reacts, right? That's my proof. And I know it's not in my head. I know it's not a placebo. I know it's not me taking something that mentally makes me feel like, yeah, it's working. It fucking works, right?
Okay.
And so my advice, and there are a lot of people that take ashwagandha for different reasons, for anxiety, to help them with their depression. And, you know, it's not a cure. And I want to be clear, adaptogens are not a cure, but they sure as hell help. And why wouldn't you want as much help as possible as your body is going through really significant changes, right? And I'm also open to learning more about HRT. You know, there are people who are dead set against it. There are people who are like, yo, my aunt, she's like, Shani, I went and got my HRT patch. And within 2 weeks, my sleeping patterns were restored. I felt more like myself emotionally. The sugar cravings decreased. I had the energy to go back to my long walks. And so all the weight that I'd gained, you know, slowly started to come off because I actually had the energy to get up and go. Whereas before, and she's like, I'm sorry, but this is what worked for me. And that's what it is. It's about doing your research and finding the things that will help you through this transition, the things that work for you. And so that's where I am right now on my journey with perimenopause, is finding the things that work for me. And as I said, when I come up to England next year, I'll go see a specialist. And I may be open at that point to try hormonal replacement therapy. I think that's what HRT stands for. And I may not. I don't know. Yeah, hormone replacement therapy. That's what it is. And it is a treatment to relieve symptoms of the menopause. It replaces hormones that are at a lower level as you approach menopause. The main benefit of HRT is that it can help relieve most of the menopausal symptoms, such as hot flushes, night sweats, mood swings, vaginal dryness, reduced sex drive. Many of these symptoms pass, and this is important. And for anyone listening, please know, right? This is not the end of anything. I really want to keep on repeating that. Many of these symptoms pass after a few years, but they can be unpleasant. It can be unpleasant. And taking HRT can offer relief for many women. It can also help prevent weakening of the bones, which is more common after the menopause. Lord have mercy. Okay. Risk of HRT, which is what we discussed earlier. Some types of HRT can increase your risk of breast cancer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
The benefits of HRT are generally believed to outweigh the risk, but speak to a GP if you have any concerns about taking HRT. How do you feel about HRT, Sherween?
I don't know, because my mom, again, I spoke to mommy about it, and I said to her, try to avoid it. Because she was saying, it's really hard and whatnot. And I think, gosh, that's not for me to say, but I just think if she was getting a little more help and a little more support, that she would not think it necessary, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
For her, it's that she's not getting the help and the support, and it's not that she wants a pill or HRT to cure it. She knows what she's going through. She knows what's happening to her body. But yeah, I think it's the fact that she's not getting the help and support, maybe even emotionally as well. I think that's what's hard on her.
The emotional.
I think it's the emotional help. It's the emotional support. It's the emotional, okay, I know what you're going through. Or I understand what you're going through. You understand?
Yeah.
It's that.
And having community, which is why we need to speak. And I love that you passed her on to our potential guest. You showed her.
Yeah, I did.
That's
passed on her details. I tell her follow the podcast. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her on Facebook.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Under the Mango Tree. I have decided to share some sounds which I captured at a beautiful event which has been held in Nevis for the last 3 years. Nothing like a Nevisian holiday. String band music, steel pan music, cooking demonstrations, which this year was actually a black cake cooking demonstration. Nothing else needs to be said, really. Enjoy the sounds of nothing like a Nevisian holiday. Hey! We love the festival. We love the festival. We love the festival. We love the festival. Hi.
This is Deborah's.
Yes, it is. It's a lot, ladies. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And
it's a lot.
With anything, which is one of the reasons we started this podcast, which is a shared journey, right? And even having that conversation amongst your friends and saying, yo, we need to start thinking about this. We need to start checking our hormones levels, and let's talk about it, and let's see what worked for Fiona, what worked for Sherween, what worked for Shani. Let's exchange resources, right? Because it's something that we will get through, and we need to kind of break this myth of it just being this lonely, dark place of doom and gloom. It is not. I know women who have gone through their menopause and they're so happy. It's like, yo, I don't have a period anymore. Hello. And and it's like, yo, the freedom knowing it's done. Right. A new stage of my life, because it is.
Yeah.
It's a new stage of your life. Newness, another rebirth.
Yeah.
We have many different points in our lives where we are rebirthing, and this is just another one. Right? It's not the end. It's not doom. It's not gloom. Of course, there's emotional, like for me, really understanding that, biologically now, even though I can, because it says clearly you can get pregnant in perimenopause. But, once I hit menopause, that is it.
Yeah.
And I don't have any children. And so it's like, like my chances. And right now in my life, I don't think at 49 that I am able to have a biological child, just energy wise. I'm like, I'm not able. And I do, and I don't want to sound morbid, but having a child at 49, how much time will my child have with me realistically? It's like I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a child that loses their parent at a young age. I don't want that trauma for them. And so even me thinking about adopting, I'm thinking about the age of the child that I want to adopt. Because I want them to have a good number of years with their parent. And I don't want them to be 5 years old and losing their parent. I don't want that for them. I don't want them to be 10. And of course, that could happen no matter what, right? But it is something that I think about.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you want to be able to have the energy. And even I have been thinking about that too as well, in terms of wanting to, if I'm having another child, to be able to give them the best of myself and to have the energy and to be able to, because, I have seen how some older parents kind of struggle. It's not out of not wanting to be hyped and to play all the games and do all the things. It's just being tired. And I guess it's having to tired. You're just tired. And I think also too, yes, you can exercise and things like that, but imagine like having a toddler and going through menopause. That's rough.
That's rough.
It's rough. It's rough. It's not impossible.
And people have done it.
Without the support, it's rough.
It is. Don't want that. I don't want that for any woman. I really don't. But then there's so many women who get caught in perimenopause because the lack of information, it makes you feel like, oh, I can't get pregnant. So let me just do my thing. That same friend said to me that her pregnant patients, right, are mostly in their late 40s and they're in shock. They're like, but I'm 47 and, I'm in perimenopause. And she has to tell them, well, perimenopause is different to menopause. You are still, even though it's low, right? The fertility rate is low. Your estrogen production is low. It's not impossible. It doesn't mean that you cannot get pregnant, because you still can. And she said she's finding a lot of women in their late 40s are coming into her pregnant and like, what the fucking?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, boy.
A
lot to think about, right?
A lot. An absolute a lot. But I think it's just, how do we find ways to celebrate this thing? Because, like you were saying earlier on in the podcast, about people say it's a woman's end of days, because our validity is based on your ability to make children, right? That's because that's your value, right? And then so therefore them times are done, so you passed your time, kind of thing. But in terms of celebrating like a new chapter of your life and just how we can have these conversations, celebrate the trials and the triumphs in this period of life that is not spoken about and it's not celebrated either. Yes. And I think having this conversation has been really good in terms of creating hope that it is something that we all collectively going through in different ways, but to just really make it become a practice to talk about it more,
Yes, V, 100%. Let's talk about it more. The more we talk, the more we learn. More talk. Yes. More talk. So hopefully next week we'll have on an expert who can really dive a little deeper into the things that we've just skimmed, because we are no experts on this. We are learning. This is new to the three of us, right? I'm a bit further along than Sherween and Fiona, because I've been in this stage for maybe the last 4 years. And so, although I wasn't aware of that until 2 years ago, and Sherween has her mom going through it, and Sherween is in perimenopause, and Fiona may be in perimenopause, and her mom has been through menopause, and she's in postmenopausal right now. And so, and we all have people around us who are questioning. And so, we've opened up the conversation. If there's anyone listening who is journeying through peri or has already been through perimenopause, you're in your menopause, how was it for you? You can write into Dear Relatable. What's the email address again? I'm blaming it on perimenopause, Sherween. What's the email address for Relatable?
It's relateablepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, man. Relatable
Yeah,
relatable
with an E.
All right. Oh, yes, that's important. It's relatable. So relate.
Yeah.
Relatable. Okay. Good. Please write into us. Tell us, how has your time been? And also for the men listening, what has been your experience with the women in your life? How has it been for you? Were you able to support them? Did it scare you? How were you feeling seeing either your sister, your mom, your niece, your partner go through their own journeys with these menopausal stages? We'd love to hear from you too. Your perspective is very important to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's wrapping up our introduction to menopause, the menopause minefield, because that's how it feels. There's so much.
It does.
Yeah, menopause minefield, boy.
It
bloody well does feel like a minefield.
There's so much, but there's also a lot of information out there now, which is very, very helpful. We'll share a few links in the show notes before we say goodbye. For this episode, just want to touch in with my girls and see what has brought them joy over the last few days. Fiona, what's going on? What's brought you joy?
Why have to be me first again?
I love you.
What has brought you? Next question, please.
You're passing? I take a pass.
Oi, let me be real. Gasa, it's been -4 degrees. All right. Like, yo. Okay.
Keep it real.
I'm trying. I'll tell you one thing. Jiraiya is smashing it in school. And I'll tell you a quick thing. The average in his class for Spanish is 49%. Jiraiya is 94%.
Yo.
Okay.
Oh my God.
94% in Spanish. Because you know why? DuoLingo. Okay.
Wow.
That man has been doing Duo every single day. Almost for a year now. And he was doing it from before that. And let me tell you guys, so that's a good way to get yourself into like learning a new language. He spends like 5 minutes a day. And it has really brought in such great results. This is not an ad. It's real, just real life talk.
This. Yes.
But yeah, and I mean, they even have Haitian Creole on there now. So they have, yes,
Stop
they do.
It.
Yes, they do.
Stop
yes,
it.
They do.
No, what's the name of it again?
Also,
what's the name?
DuoLingo.
Okay.
So, and also too, the thing is that the Haitian Creole is a trial because we spoke to the developer of it and they're like, DuoLingo will keep it on the app if at least 100,000 people are using.
Excuse me? Okay, it's what? No.
If
we need to get people
below, it would be removed. Right? Because they have, like, of course, Spanish is the most popular, and they have German and all of these European languages. They have Swahili and Japanese and stuff, but that is the only Caribbean language that's on there.
No way.
And it may not stay.
Okay, so
the more people
Fiona,
use
repeat that, please, so we can get our listeners to share, please.
DuoLingo, so that's DuoLingo.
I'll put it in the notes.
It's a free app, and it has Haitian Creole on there. The more users, the better, so we can have a Caribbean language.
Yes.
And it's also very similar to St. Lucian and Dominican Creole as well. And it's a free app for y'all to use. So yeah, and it's like, I'm telling you, Jiraiya class average, I will say again, 49%, and Jiraiya is at 94% with his Spanish.
Yo,
right?
Okay. All right.
That's what brought me joy.
All right, we're with you. Okay, we're on it. Sherween, what has brought you joy the last few days?
The last few days, what will I say? It's just meeting new people again and feeling. I said it before. Being made welcome by my partner's family. That was really nice. Nothing stands out. What brought me joy? Brought me a lot of joy. We took the kids to a secluded beach, which is literally around the corner from my house for the first time.
Oh, y'all finally gone, Gasa?
We finally
Oh my
made
God,
it
Sherween.
to the beach around the corner. Chantal, when I tell you around the corner from my house, I mean around the corner from my house.
Wow.
Okay. And we went there at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there for the sunset.
Mm-mm.
And oh my God, just the four of us on the beach. It's not a private beach, it's a secluded beach.
But why it take so long to go there?
I don't know why. I don't know why. And it was just magical. And then the moon was almost full. So when the moon came up from behind the mountain, and my goodness, the four of us were in awe. We were like, and we were just talking and laughing and playing games on the beach, just the four of us. It was beautiful. Beautiful, magical moment. That brought me a lot of joy.
Doesn't give you a great different perspective of
an amazing, yep.
That you don't normally
never
see.
saw Pigeon Point like that before.
Yep.
Never.
Yep, it's stunning. And it's not, it's because, you know, Chantal, it's not one of the most known beaches because it has stones.
Right.
It's not a pristine white sand beach, but it's like you can walk along the rocks. Me and Jerry went, and like you go and look in between, and you see little fish going through the rocks and things. It's really nice.
Beautiful.
And people go there and barbecue. They catch their fish, they barbecue the thing. It's be really, really nice. Really, really
love
nice.
This. Can't wait to come to St. Lucia. I can't. Really looking forward to it. Oh, that sounds
And Chantal,
gorgeous.
what brought you joy this week?
You know, there was a standout moment. There were two things. That brought me joy. There were many actually amidst all of the work intensity. One of them was I had just spent some time with my grandfather. It was in the evening, and I was walking around because where I am is a little studio, not too far from my granddad, right? And I just walked around the balcony and I looked up and I saw the Little Dipper, the constellation.
Oh.
And I almost froze, you know? It was quite comical because I was like, because I just happened to look up. And it was a beautiful night. It was the night after the full moon. And I saw the Little Dipper. And I felt like a child, you know? And the smile on my face and just the awe of seeing the Little Dipper in the night sky, being able to see it so clearly. It's
taking me back to my childhood, you know. I used to do that. It's the little things, man.
The Little Dipper. And then the second thing happened just yesterday. My mom took me out for lunch, which was lovely. We went to a restaurant that I've only been to once before when I was here on holiday. And I do forget about it because it's not secluded, but it's out of town. It's near to the airport that we have, Sherween.
Yes. It's okay.
It's okay.
I know you'll find the shorts, but it's fine.
It's okay.
It's an education.
It's okay. And it was just lovely. Went to this restaurant for lunch, Drift. And of course, the food, you know, y'all know the food in Nevis is bomb, right? Bomb food. And So on the way home, we stopped off by my great aunt Georgette. She is 89 years old and she has a carer. And because my mom is leaving today, you know, because my mom goes to see her almost every day, but she just wanted to stop by to say goodbye. And so when we got there, her carer was there. I was like, where's Aunt Georgette? She said she's in the shower. I was like, oh, she said, no, Shani, you could go and see her. But I grew up knowing Aunt Georgette to be very private, right? And so I didn't want to go in and she's in the shower. She's 89, you know, I wanted to be respectful, right? So she's like, no, man, Shani, you're good. Go ahead. I was like, okay. So I go in and I hear the shower running. I'm like, Aunt Georgette, what are you doing? And, you know, her speech isn't that great. So I peep my head around the shower curtain and she's there, you know, bathing herself. And so I took the soap and I took the scrubber and I bathed my great Aunt Georgette, right? And we're there and we're chatting. And I said, Aunt Georgette, remember when you used to bathe me in a tin bath outside? And she laughed and she said, yes, Shani, I remember. I said, and now look, I'm bathing you. And she laughed and she said, Shani, you're bathing me? I say, yes, Aunt Georgette, I'm bathing you. And we're just there laughing, right? Can I say, my great aunt's skin is so smooth and so firm, and her breasts are, I'm sorry, Aunt Georgia, no disrespect, but her breasts are so perky. I'm like, excuse me?
How you mean?
I'm like, wait, well, go on. Aunt Georgia at 89 looking good, you know. But the moment itself, I was like, what a privilege for me to be able to bathe my great aunt. It really, that's how it felt. It felt like a privilege. And to see that we've come full circle, where there are photos of her in her garden in Montserrat, of me in the tin bath outside, because, as children, we like bathing outside. And Georgia scrub it, washing my hair, whatever. And now here I am bathing my aunt. And I came home and I was tired. It was just lovely. I'm like, I am so blessed to have these elders still in my life. So that's what brought me joy. That's really what brought me joy this week.
That's good. Yeah. That's beautiful.
It was. It felt good.
That's beautiful.
Honestly.
It was very, very beautiful. I think it's also, but it's you appreciating those moments. It's what makes it special. Understanding that full circle moment of you now bathing your auntie and helping her the same way she did for you.
Yeah. And dressing her, lotioning up her skin afterwards. It just felt it felt very beautiful and connective, and she's one of the reasons that I want to get a bicycle, so that I can cycle down to her, and see her more often, and remember why I'm home, that it's not just to be in front of my laptop working all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a great reminder. It was a great reminder of that. So that's it, y'all. That's it.
All right, folks. I've learned so much today. I've learned so much. And I also feel like a bit sad that I never asked my mom how she was feeling. So I'm going to make sure I do that today.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank you all for today. And I hope this encourages all the women listening, also all the men listening.
Yes.
Be a bit more perceptive to the concept of perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, postmenopause, all of them things, right? But remember, folks, that a shared journey
brings hope. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.